This is the toughest challenge in the history of the Forged in Fire competition without a doubt. The 2.7-meter-long dagger. Not only do the contestants have to scale it down by a factor of 5 to replicate it, but they also have to use the most flashy Damascus steel billet T as the forging material. Meanwhile, the handle must be hammered into a full tang style. After completion, the judges will take measurements. If the parameters don't meet the standards, the contestant will be directly eliminated. Such absurd competition rules have left the contestants scratching their heads, because this competition tests not only their knife forging skills, but also their mathematical abilities. As soon as the competition started, Leo quickly ground the steel billet and then welded it together, placing it into the furnace for forging. Taking advantage of the heating interval, Leo picked up a small ruler and began measuring and calculating, even more seriously than when he was in school. Fortunately, the production team provided a calculator, saving him from too much suffering. After a moment of thought, Dina decided not to use all the steel. He believed that half of the steel would be sufficient for forging the knife. He thought that the production team provided so much material just to delay the contestants' time. As for the dimensions of the knife billet, Dina didn't measure them in detail either. He decided to forge it entirely based on his intuition. 7 in order to speed up the process, deliberately took out a long magnet he had prepared in advance. Although this thing looked ordinary, it could grind several pieces of steel simultaneously, saving a lot of time. Jack, who was the slowest, had just calculated the dimensions at this point, but when he looked at the other contestants, they had already started stretching the steel billet. Leo's steel billet was hammered thick and long. To reduce the burden, he decisively chose to cut off a part of it and use the remaining part to shape the knife. Ironically, after Dina stretched and lengthened the steel billet, he found that it was too short. Now he regretted it deeply, but he didn't want to start over again. He could only continue hammering and forging, praying that it would meet the parameter requirements. After stretching the steel billet, 7 cut out trapezoidal patterns to highlight its uniqueness and increase his chances of winning. Later, after measurement, he found that the blade was too long. Without any hesitation, he directly cut off the tip of the blade. At this point, Jack had finally heated the steel billet to a red-hot state, but unexpectedly, with one hammer blow, the steel billet cracked directly. He immediately sprinkled a large amount of flux to remedy it. Fortunately, in the end, the knife billet recovered as before. With only 1 hour left, Leo's knife was the first to be shaped. Throughout the shaping process, he relied solely on his own powerful arms to hammer it, and the final result was quite impressive. After shaping his knife, 7 directly proceeded with heat treatment. Then, without any hesitation, he completed the crucial quenching process. The knife billet was straight and had no problems. Leo followed suit and quenched his knife, although the temperature was a bit high. Fortunately, it didn't cause any impact. The strength of the knife billet remained intact. Jack was the third to complete the quenching process, and the result was also very good. Then he began grinding the surface impurities to make the blade cleaner, but unexpectedly an accident happened at this moment.